and thank you for joining me. As discussed, we've been talking about some time saving tips for when you are moving house. So what I wanted to go just into a little bit more detail with you about how we can help you save some time when you're moving home. I know it can be one of the most stressful times, right? It's rated right up there to be one of the most stressful things that we ever do in our lives. I have moved so many times. I've moved country to country, city to city, and I get it. So I'm actually selling my house right now. And so I'm kind of getting in that preparation stage for when we do sell and have to move. So what I suggest and what I have come up with is a really extensive checklist, which I think will really help you stay in control, feel like you can sleep at night because you're not missing any deadlines, and you'll have everything and make it run as smoothly as possible. So what I came up with, now, as soon as you know you've sold your house, you need to start straight away. And a lot of us tend to procrastinate and put things off. I get that, especially if it's something that we don't really like doing and it's totally overwhelming. But start as soon as you can and get that checklist going. So actually, I should say another thing beforehand, sorry, is you could actually start even when you list your house. Like I have my house for sale right now. So we've gone through and decluttered and just taken away stuff that we don't need, take away your personal items, that kind of thing. So that's a really good way. And sorry, here's my puppy dog come to say hello. And so what you could do is that helps so people can see themselves in your space, and then they can imagine them in that environment. It also makes your spaces look larger as well. So it usually, it can help sell your homes faster too. And then the next one, so I've talked about it briefly, is create a checklist. Checklists are amazing. So go through, and I actually have an extensive checklist there, but go through and list, everything that you'll need to change address on. So utilities, and then, you can go to the post office. You can actually set up an auto direct or redirect. A lot of them are probably done via email these days. So you're going to have to go through and make sure that they know you've changed address. Then there's banking details. So make sure with banks, that you've changed the address. And then another checklist can be just, making sure, I talk about it actually a little bit, but calling the movers, getting pricing for that done, and dates. There's so much that you need to do with schooling as well, with before and after school care, let them know. So create a checklist of everything you could possibly think of. And then the next one I say is what I just mentioned about, so source and book movers as soon as possible. So don't just assume that they're going to have available the dates that you specifically want. If you can, try and use movers that you have been referred to you. I know movers can be a little tricky sometimes. There's sort of some, hit and miss with movers, but if you can find someone, usually you could post in Facebook to see if anyone else can refer, if you don't have any friends that can recommend anybody. And make sure you ask those questions like, are they insured, are they bondable, all that kind of stuff, right? Just to make sure that everything's going to be safe and secure if anything should go wrong. And then another one is, I always say, assign tasks to every member of the family. Obviously give it in within reason of their age, right? But assign tasks to everybody. Don't take it all on board yourself, because it can be really overwhelming and you're making it more stressful for yourself. So don't take it all on board. So just pass off as tasks, as many as you're comfortable and you can pass off, right, to the appropriate person in the family. Another one, we sort of say, so I guess, I don't know if it's a time saver, but it's something that you, actually it is. I mean, at the end, start using up all the food in your fridge. Because sometimes you can kind of get to the end and in the freezer as well. And so sometimes you get to the end and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got all this stuff in the freezer. We're going to have to either start cooking it, or you've got to worry about transporting it and getting it there before it thaws out. So just something else to think about, right, to start looking at ahead of time. And I think I did mention it already. Make sure you send a change of address documents to everybody. Make sure you have that in place well in advance, right? So you don't have to think about that. And another one is it helps you beforehand, and you're going to save time, and you'll know with the furniture. Complete a floor plan of your new home. Measure everything, your furniture, and make sure it's all going to fit into the new house. Measure door width, so make sure that your furniture is going to fit in, because that can happen, right? You don't think about it, and then it's like all of a sudden, oh my gosh, my furniture doesn't fit in. So have that all done already, and if you need to, then you can buy new furniture and replace it, and you can have the new furniture delivered to the new address, right? So you don't have to worry about moving it. And that way, then your furniture that you have now, you can either sell it or donate it, depending the condition of it or what you want to do with it, right? And another one I like to do is create a folder for all your moving documents. So this way, all members of the family will have access to it. They'll know exactly where it is. They know the dates, the time frames, everything that's going on. So if you're somehow get called away or something happens, they'll have access to it as well, right? And so that really helps, I think, save that stress as well. And another thing I like to do is, you probably can see here, these are called EcoBox. So this is another really neat way of packing your stuff. So they are plastic boxes, and they have lids on them. Right, so there's two different sizes. You can see the blue size down there, and then the green one. And the really neat thing about these, a couple of things, right? They are stackable. So stackable is great because if you can start packing ahead of time, and then you can stack them. And then when you get to the new home, you can also stack them as well, and it just saves space for you as well. So another really cool thing is that because they're not cardboard boxes, you can actually, you don't have to worry about disposing them at the end of it. So these guys will actually drop them off to you, and you can rent them. The longer you rent them, the cheaper it is. And then once you're finished with them, they'll actually come and pick them up as well, which is fantastic. So it's really, really cool. So I really love these because they're eco-friendly. They get reused and reused so many times, and then they after each use, they'll actually get washed as well, right? So they're very hygienic as well. So really, really neat service. Love it. I think it's a great idea. They also have like wardrobe. I believe they might use wardrobe boxes for that actually. So really cool. So love that idea too. So really, really useful. So yeah, just some ideas there for you to help make your move go a little bit smoother. Again, like I said, I know it can get really stressful, really, really busy. And just having checklists and having assigning tasks to other family members, you don't feel so overwhelmed, right? Because there's usually one person that kind of is in lead that will run in the move in the family. But if you can do it and kind of, take some of the burden off you, but make sure that you all have access to the information, it all should go a lot smoother, right? Okay, perfect. So that is hopefully helpful for you, and that you find some good tips out of that. Again, this company is called EcoBox. Really, really neat idea. And yeah, so good luck with your move and all the best.